Welcome back to my series, Making Hard Bakes Until I Get It Right. This is episode 3 and we're still talking sourdough. You can watch my last 2 videos here or link in the description box below. This episode is so kindly sponsored by the company T-Bars. They sent me their Amazon sourdough kit. It is complete with bannetons, bench scrapers, starter stirrer, a sourdough jar that actually has measurements right on it so you can watch it double right there, and this band that you can put around the jar. You can change it to what day and what time you last fed it, so Saturday at 6 a.m. and you can watch it grow and fall. That way you don't have to like write on your jar or tape your jar or put a rubber band around your jar because you have this cool thing. I really haven't changed that much, but I've gone back to a really simple recipe. I feel like I figured out my kitchen and my oven in a different way, whereas I'm not following the laws that the recipes are in, and instead I'm following my dough in my kitchen. Hoping for the best in this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the series, and let me know what I should make next in the comments below. I'm thinking croissants or bagels. So my starter is always fed with half whole wheat and half white flour, and I haven't noticed a difference between all-purpose and bread flour, so I have been using all-purpose. I leave at least 25 grams in the fridge. Today, I think I'm going to feed it twice. We'll see, because I think I want to make 2 loaves, and this is only going to be enough for 1. From today until tomorrow, I'll let it rise and fall, and then the next day, I will let it rise and try to use it around its peak. I'm not super anal about that. I don't mind if it's right at its peak or right under. All right, this is my starter now. So I fed it 2 days in a row. The first day you guys saw, then I fed it again this morning, I think. And now it's like 5 o'clock. It is over full. It's so bubbly. It looks great. The weather's warm, so I think it really grew today. I really want to make 2 loaves at once today. Oops, this isn't on. Oh no. So this is the second time that I have messed up my scale measurements, and it's really scary. So I want to make 2 loaves today, double the recipe essentially. So I want to use 200 grams of starter. I've really been loving this rubber spatula for the starter because it just helps like things not get stuck. It's so deep into like my jar. I don't know, I really liked it. It's like a really small thing that goes a really long way. Zero my scale, 950. I'm back to all-purpose flour because I didn't see the big difference between all-purpose and bread, and that's probably because I wasn't doing it. My bread never came out good. I'm gonna use about 900 grams of the white and then 50 grams of wheat. I like the taste, and they say wheat does well with starter. That's what I've heard. I just feel like when this does rise, there's gonna be no room in the bowl for it to rise. Salt, 10 grams, so we're gonna do 20 because we're doubling. I always use my hand for this. So I'm going back in time to when I first made sourdough before I ever recorded a video, and I'm using a recipe from a woman because I really do feel like I've just had better luck with women's recipes over men's recipes. And we can say whatever we want. I've talked about this in the last ones. It could be because men really want to make like the best possible loaf ever and women just want to feed their families. That's my assumption. I'm totally making an assumption and generalizing, and I understand that I could be wrong, but I think it's true. I think women just want to feed their families and they want to do it in a simple and efficient way, and men are looking for the best loaf possible and are really into the science of baking, which I am too. I get it. Their recipes are just so much more complicated. So this recipe is from Farmhouse on Boone blog, website, recipe blog. It's called the Beginner's Sourdough Bread, and it's like literally the first recipe I used, and my first loaf came out pretty good. I didn't film that one. I also found out recently that I have a proofing setting on my oven. So if I put it into the oven to proof for the first rise, then it happens a lot faster. It doubles in size very, very quickly. So I don't follow the recipe suggested time for sitting there because it typically is too long. So I actually save a lot of time with that setting. My oven is like an LG oven and it's relatively new, so I think that's why they have that setting. It was mixed, it's in a shaggy ball. We're gonna let it sit for 30 minutes. This is the step that allows the flour and the water to absorb the water. I'll see you back in 30 minutes. I need to wash my hands. 30 minutes later, let's do 1 round of stretch and folds. Hey guys, if this is your first time watching a sourdough video, stretch and fold is when you stretch your dough and fold it over. This is still kind of sticky. Stretch your dough and fold it over. We do this 4 times all the way around the dough, and that's considered 1 round. We let it sit for another 30 minutes. We do another round of stretch and folds, let it sit for another 30 minutes, over and over again. All right, I just completed my last set of stretch and folds, and it was only 3 sets. Dough looks good, looks firm, looks strong, they say. So now I cover, and we're gonna let it ferment in for the first bulk rise. I'm gonna put it on the proofing setting in my oven, which means it'll probably be in there for 1 to 2 hours or until it doubles in size. If you don't have a proofing setting in your oven, this could take 12 hours. You could leave it overnight, but with the proofing setting, it goes much faster. It's basically a warm environment for your dough. Put this in. Okay, it's been proofing for probably an hour and a half. Something's telling me it hasn't quite doubled in size. It's definitely grown a lot, but I can see it needing another 30 minutes. Put it back in. Okay, dough is doubled, lightly floured surface, turning it over onto the surface. The T-Mars sourdough kit comes with a bench scraper, so I can cut my dough in half with it, and I can clean my bench with it, which is nice. Shaping I'm still not great at, but I guess I'm just gonna fold the dough onto itself on all ends. That's actually not how people do it. We'll take one side, fold it over, the other side, fold it over, and then the corners and the edges into like a seam down the middle. I really should just look up a YouTube video and see how to shape my sourdough, but I feel like I've watched a million YouTube videos on it and I'm still confused, so I don't want to. Put it over onto the seam, pull it towards me, onto the unfloured side of the counter so that we build tension in the loaf. But it actually looks pretty good. I think I'm getting better at shaping my dough. That looks pretty good. The sourdough kit from T-Mars came with a silicone banneton bowl. I think that's what you call it. So I'm not sure if you have to flour it because it's silicone, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna do it a little bit. And it actually came with 2, so I can do 2 different loaves at the same time now. Seam side up, like that. Put it into a plastic bag, seal it tight, and into the fridge overnight. And it's ready to ferment overnight. Good morning. 8 a.m. the next day. I always have the hardest time telling if it's grown when it's in here. In the banneton bowl, I have no idea. I think maybe. Over, see how the silicone works. I'm curious. There we go. I don't think this is gonna have oven spring. It's just a little bit too flat, I think. Maybe I should let it sit longer. Maybe give it another 4 hours. I'm just gonna put it back in this bowl and let it sit longer in the fridge. It can't be worse than it is right now. I just really want good oven spring. Don't want another flat loaf. I'll do whatever it takes. All right, let's try this again. So the oven is preheating one more time. It's now 11:30, so it's been closer to 13 hours, 14 hours. Yeah, I don't know that I really love this shape or that I think it's like super fluffy. It's not, but that doesn't mean that it can't still spring in the oven, right? Oven is preheated to 475, so I'm gonna pop this in. I'm honestly so nervous. Timer's gonna go off in about 45 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the lid off. I'm gonna add another little score underneath where I already scored it so I can try to get a lift in an ear. I'm really curious to see if we see oven spring. That's when it like puffs up and kind of gets big. We'll know now. All right, let's see, moment of truth. Oh my God, it is there. Whoa, oven spring. I don't want to leave it open too long, but I want to show you guys. It's puffy. Looks good. Okay, let it go for another 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna turn the temperature down to 450. Oven spring. I couldn't be happier. I think it's over. I think this is it, guys. I think I'm done with the sourdough series because I've mastered it. Maybe. I think. I'm gonna be confident and say I have. Next loaf goes straight in. Let's look at this loaf. Guys, all my dreams came true. It looks amazing. Look how big it is. It's so hot. Okay, I'm gonna wait for it to cool down. I know other people have better oven springs and better ears, but I think that's great. I don't care what other people have. Okay, I hear ya. So we have to let it cool to completion because it continues to cook internally. You can't cut into your sourdough prematurely because the insides won't be cooked. It's like making chicken, you know? You need to let it rest until it's done. Overall, I would say it's pretty good. The thing that I wish I did is I wish I cut this one a little bit deeper on the ear the second time around, and I didn't. But I really like the way that the scoring came out. I don't even think that was intentional. It just came out good. The problem with slicing is I did want to give these loaves to my in-laws and my neighbor. Nice. It probably could have been baked for a couple more minutes, but overall, I would say that came out really good. Very, very happy with that. I don't know, what do you guys think? Did we do it? Am I done? Should I keep practicing? I mean, obviously I'm gonna keep making it and practice makes perfect, but is the series over is the question. I couldn't be happy. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for all of your support. It's meant the world to me. I know I'm being dramatic. This has been so much fun. I love sourdough. I love having a hobby that I can eat. I could cry.